Welcome to Africa This Week. I'm Abubakar Sadiq Ibrahim. In this episode, I'll be talking to Dr. Silas Joshua. He teaches geography at the Federal University in Lokoja. He's also the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, ASUU. He's their chairperson at the University of Federal University in Lokoja here in Kogi State, in central Nigeria. Dr. Silas, welcome to Africa This Week.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It's been very inactive recently. You know, for the past 6-7 months, the lecturers and professors, you know, your union, Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, you have been on strike, which is, you know, have thrown a monkey wrench into our students, all Nigerian students at the federal universities in the country in disarray. They have been not being in classes. This is not the first time ASUU and the federal government have faced off on promises not kept. It's very devastating to academic calendars in Nigeria. Tell us what has been going on your part as a spokesperson of the union at Federal University in Lokoja. Tell us where are you guys now?
Yeah, thank you very much. ASUU struggle has been on since 2009. It's just because government reneged in fulfilling her promise on the 2009 agreement. From 2009 to date, it's about over 13 years. And interestingly, this struggle is what no one forced government into it. Government willingly agreed to go into the agreement with the union. Government promised that they will fulfill all this agreement so as to revamp the tertiary education system in the country. But to our greatest surprise, you know, after signing the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, which led to the Memorandum of Action, till date, government has not fulfilled that promise. Sad enough, in 2007, a committee was set by the son, Wale Babalaki, and that committee of Babalaki could not really yield any meaningful result. And, you know, after all said and done, the committee was banned, and government set another committee, Muzali Jibril Committee, which was in 2020, May 2020. And the committee renegotiated with the union and came up with, you know, after collective bargaining, came up with an agreement of what they feel the union should be taking as part of their condition of service. And to our greatest surprise, the result, the outcome of that committee was not implemented. And when the issue got to Salaries and Wages Commission, it was petitioned there, and that committee, confusion setting with the Minister of Labour in conjunction and other people, and that outcome of that committee was not implemented. And that led us to this strike action of recently, whereby, you know, the union, when they discovered the government were not willing to, you know, to implement the agreement, the union had no option than to go on strike. And the strike gave birth to the Nimi Breeze Committee. And the Nimi Breeze Committee renegotiated with the union. And of course, before that renegotiation, the union asked them, are you sure you are representing the government? You have the mandate to represent the government? Which the committee agreed and said yes. They had the mandate from government to stand by government to renegotiate before the union. And that committee came out with its own agreement. sad enough, the outcome of that committee, the single draft, after consultation, all these major stakeholders were involved: the Salaries, Wages and Income Commission, the Ministry of Finance, the budgets, NIDA, the Minister of Digital Communication, and so all the other stakeholders were involved. And they came to agreement, which a single draft of that agreement was produced and gave to the Minister of Education, which he promised that would be implemented. He would take it to government for government to sign and then get back to the union. Till this moment, after 3 committees, all those things were done.
Why is the committee failing? There are various recommendations, even in terms of bargaining agreement discussions. You guys are professors, you guys are lecturers in the universities. You taught this in various levels of negotiations. Yeah, I mean, is any time this thing, the process of negotiation, you always agree with them, and but no results. What I mean by you agreeing with them in the sense that there's a committee, you have enumerated them, you moved to another committee, it continues failing. Is it proper for me to say that the lecturers who taught this in the class, your weapons, or the thought that is exhibited in classrooms for these people before they get to where they are, is being used against you at the moment, because many committees are failing, which means there's no proper negotiations, and you guys just walk away from time to time for another, compromise. Tell me about this, because there's something is wrong.
There's not really a compromise. It's just like the government felt they constituted the committee. The government named the members of the committee that will stand for them. Because they have that mandate. And our own is we go for every invitation. We never renege in any invitation. But the truth is, how can government, a responsible government, who will set up a committee, and at the end of the day, government will fail to respect the feedback or the outcome of what the committee comes up with?
I'm made to understand that even when committees are set up, after some period of deliberation, to have a final agreement, or in some kind of level where the two sides, as the ASUU, member of ASUU, and the federal government or labor, or whichever way, Federal Minister of Education. But sometimes, as your president of ASUU, or Sadiq, Victor Sadiq, said one day that sometimes you come there, you don't see anybody, even at the meeting venue, when you are expecting someone to come and say, this is what we have arrived at. You don't meet anybody. Is that true?
Yeah, it has been like that. That was what gave birth to this strike. There was no need for this strike, for government to implement the Muslim Eligibility Committee. And in fact, it intends to just implement what was agreed quietly, without even the public knowing. But again, because after calls upon calls, sometimes some of the people concerned will not respond. A meeting whereby government will fix the date, the time, the venue, and everything, but they will not be there. And that was what gave birth to this strike action, because of failure of government to implement the Muslim Eligibility Committee. And of course, if you look at it, most of this agreement, there was collective bargaining. Don't just go into agreement without, give and take. There must be give and take. After serious discussion, argument here and there, at the end of the day, they reach to an agreement. But the unfortunate thing is, the implementation is always the problem. At implementation stage, government will renege. They will not fulfill her promise. And that is where the problem is.
On Sunday, last week, not this Sunday, this week, and last Sunday when the president of ASUU, Mr. Professor Sadiq, and he felt that they should have a meeting. That meeting started very late at night, and we came up with Monday morning, and we are resolved to embark on indefinite strike. Because the teaching problem is that UTAS, as you guys have agreed upon, and the IPP was IPPS or what I call it, IPPIs, and we are still having a problem. Rumorsly, or in the pages of newspapers, we know that the UTAS has been agreed upon, and so on and so forth, the payroll system, but still, at the end of the day, we're not going to get it. And the executive arms of the Academic Staff Union of Nigeria University, ASUU, met again the other Sunday, not the previous one. What's the date? They met and they embarked on indefinite strike because there's a shove comes to shove. Give us what happened in that meeting. I know you might, whether you're not there, you might be briefed. What happened there? What's the TT point? That these are issues we have been discussing. Agreement for several years have not been kept, and so on and so forth. Now we have this meeting. This is the last straw. What happened at that meeting?
Well, actually, what happened, the meeting was called on the 28th of last month, August 2022, to be precise. And of course, we gave 1 month rollover strike, because thinking that government will meet up with, a promise. But unfortunately, the 1 month elapses on the 28th, which the NEC members ideally have to meet, because nature does not allow vacuum. We met on the 28th, and after reviewing everything, and look at from the agreement, out of the 8 hitting, government has not solved even one problem. From the renegotiation, the proliferation of state university, the UTAS, the tests. Of course, UTAS emerged best in the tests conducted among the 3 platforms, the U3, PS, IPPIs, and UTAS. So UTAS came first. And of course, what they promise us is, whichever platform emerged first will be adopted, will be deployed, and will be adopted. But to our greatest surprise, none of these single item has been met. Even the one that does not even involve monetary.
Professor Muhammad Buhari told them in 2 weeks, I need something back from you.
There was nothing. All his promises.
It's almost 1 month now. He said that.
Even
he delegated his chief of staff, Professor Ibrahim, to oversee that. I think the probably is hijacked from professor at the moment. I don't know, but he was a professor in the classrooms, both in and outside of Nigeria. He was your member. And now you find out something can be agreed upon to meet the standard the university academic situation, classrooms, and philosophy are conducted. He advocated that. Everybody seems to say, oh, Professor Ibrahim Gambari is inside this, he's chief of staff, and still nothing happened.
Nothing has been achieved. There is nothing. Okay. No single item of that agenda has been fulfilled. That is the truth. Everything is promises. Even the one the Minister of Education came, which is a unilateral award. The union don't agree with unilateral awards. What we agree, what we believe in is collective bargaining. Yeah. That is what the union is known for. Well, he came with an award and said Professor Adba will be given 60,000, while other professors 30,000, and the union don't believe in that. And even that one, they are saying that it can be implemented by 2023 budget, and which is June. By then, the government will have been no more.
Prof, thank you very much. let's not continue to beat on this, the failure. In any, it takes two to tango. It is, you have to take something, you have to have something on the table. In any collective bargaining, you must come up with something, you know, with equity in mind. The parents, the students, and other stakeholders in education, especially the receivers. When I mean the receivers, I'm talking about our students, our children, our youth in Nigerian university, especially federal-owned universities. I think we are facing a dilemma because your union, ASUU, is about to be busted by the federal government. I mean, they are the owner of the universities. It's in the constitution for the federal government to open universities, states to open universities. The state is working all this. The federal government is impressing on the state government to bust the strike. What do you think about this? You guys, I think it was among the discussions that you guys had that previous Sunday. And immediately you people went up, we are going to go and embark on indefinite strike. Yeah. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing, you know, for federal government not to bust your union?
No, government don't have that mandate because the union is a union of intellectuals, which is backed by law. And for people who have not been paid for over 7 months, to still insist that they are going on indefinite strike, you should know that there is fundamental problem. After stopping our salary for 7 months, and you are still insisting that the right thing must be done, you should know that there is fundamental problem. Because government has not been sincere. I've never seen an insensitive government like this one. They don't even care whether, just the way they bastardize the primary and secondary school, secondary school education, that is what they want to happen to the tertiary institutions, especially the universities. And of course, if not for the union, parents would have been paying through their nose. Because when Babalaki came during his 2017, the first thing government wanted was to introduce tuition fee. Thanks for the union. The union says no. In fact, an average student would have been paying 1 million naira. The least would have been 300,000. And the union kick against that. So what they want is to introduce. But parents don't understand this thing, but by the time the union relax and allow them to do that, maybe parents and students will face the brunt and they will know that it's a big battle. We are fighting a battle that we are not supposed to. The revitalization is for the students. All these things you are seeing, condition the school climate to make it conducive, you know, to provide sufficient water, infrastructure, and other social amenities, is to ensure that the students have a good working condition. The laboratories, you can see the laboratories. Where are the chemicals? Where are the equipment? They are not there. And most of the students, they need the practical aspects so that they can have enough, sufficient knowledge.
Are you going to blame federal government on that? You talk about laboratories.
Yes.
There are many accusations against various vice chancellors of universities. Are you blaming the federal government, or the federal government has made the money possible and the vice chancellors of various universities and administration have been, you know, tracking this fund?
The government has the mandate
somewhere,
and that is why we are talking of the visitation panel. Normally, the ideal thing is in the university system, within 5 years, the government is supposed to send, you know, they appoint those vice chancellors. And they are supposed, as the visitor, he is supposed to send a panel to look at the tenure of the vice chancellor within the 5 years. That is the rule. The rule is there. And in fact, the last one that was done, for government to even bring out the white paper of that panel, till now, government refused to. It doesn't involve any monetary attachment to it. But what we are seeing is government on our own part, they appointed those vice chancellors. They know them. So they're supposed to monitor their, our own is to ensure that their funds are made available. And of course, we have monitoring team to also monitor whether the project is done or not. But again, it's not left for government to come to the universities to send the visitation panel to look at what this vice chancellor has done from first year to the fifth year. And then if he's found wanting, they have to bring him to book. But government has not done that. And that is part of the demand we're making. The white paper of the visitation panel should be released. Till now, they have not. So, do you know in our own parts, we do our part and allow other stakeholders, the government should also do our own part. But it's unfortunate that till now, none, I'm telling you, from the item 1 to the last item of our struggle, government has not met with any of them.
I didn't go to universities in Nigeria. I think I'm not going to say I'm from a poor family. In my period, it's not easy, but through academic scholarships, you have opportunity to go and study abroad. Or I'll study in Nigeria. I read from the United States. I went there for the first time on Nigerian technical manpower program. You know, spent about 2-3 years and come back. And based on what I did, I was given scholarship to return by my state government, which was Benue State. And I went to American University in Washington, D.C. For the professors, for lecturers in Nigeria, sometimes the TED funds, they give you guys some money to go and study abroad. Add on to what you have before you're employed, first class students or whichever way. You go and study that. And the government is busy, let me say that, or let me not be editorial. We find out that the people they have taught, they have sent to school with TED fund money, come back and they cannot teach. Even I heard somebody today on television say, I regret that I studied PhD. I don't want to study PhD because I can't come back and be receiving or be a teacher, receiving, you know, equivalent to what a bank cleric officer in the bank receives. And are you guys talking to your students, even during this period? I'm talking about the Nigerian Association of whatever you call it, NANBA, Nigerian students. Are you talking to them? You know, are you guys talking to them? You know, and are they looking at your plight and at their own plight? You know, side talking with them. You know, and they're trying to explain your own part. I knew they understand.
No, some of this struggle actually
is for them.
The students, during our time, issue of infrastructure, revitalization, is fought by students and parents. But it's because the students these days, unfortunately, the students don't even know what is good for them. And that is why the fight is big for us. And even the students have been taking care of their own, needs to ensure that they have sufficient equipment in terms of infrastructure, in terms of laboratory equipment, in terms of water supply, in terms of electricity and other things. It will have lessened the work. But it's unfortunate the crop of students we're having these days, they don't even bother. All what they're after is just to get certificate.
Yeah, because when they come out, there's no job for them.
That is the unfortunate thing.
They don't even give it down.
That is the unfortunate thing. But again, that is not what the system is supposed to be. The system has to be protected. The system has to be sanitized. And again, it's rather unfortunate we found ourselves. Those people you cited, he was just regretting because the PhD, he thought when he get it, he will have it. Because of the poor condition of Nigerian lecturers, whereby your student who works in some agencies with first degree, the student you produce will earn more than you, a professor. It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. How can you produce a student today when he works? Some agencies have been paid more than professors in the university. Meanwhile, you produce these students. So it's part of what the regrets that man was showing, expressing.
Just like I was saying abroad, that in the United States and probably elsewhere, like UK and foreign countries, you have adjunct professors.
Yes.
A professor can teach about 3-4 universities, just like medical doctors.
Yeah.
They go to various hospitals. They book a pregnant woman to go and deliver in a certain hospital, but they are in another hospital.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what is the problem with Nigerian government about being an adjunct professors. Why do they want to know how do you get what you get paid from your own, let me call it a part-time job? How do they get paid when your tax from that place are deducted? Or you guys are not paying tax when you go for adjunct professorship?
Of course.
Are you guys not paying tax?
Anywhere you find yourself, any environment you find yourself, whatever law is set in that environment, you must obey. You have to oblige. The funny thing is, you see, it's unfortunate we have government that don't really understand how the system works. That is one of the major things. One, you see, in the university system, for instance, now our appointment letter stated that in the appointment letter, you are to teach, research, and provide community development service, and any other duty that your head of department assigned to you. And of course, at the course of this thing, you have to go for visiting, you have to go for sabbatical, and you have to move for an adjunct, as an adjunct staff. These are components of the university. And the university is universal. It's only in the university as a professor in this university. When you move to any other university, you still maintain that position. It's only in the university that is obtainable because of that universality. And you cannot tell me because you are in Nigeria, your university will operate different from the way the other universities are. You're supposed to make your university to standard so that any other professor or any lecturer from any part of the world can come as either visiting, sabbatical, or as an adjunct lecturer, which is what is obtainable. But again, you see, when you have government that don't really understand the working tools of this institution, instead of coming to this institution to know what is really obtainable, they try to do things the way they perceive it, whether wrong or right. And of course, your perception is your feeling, is the way you see things. But again, if you don't really perceive it the way it should be, it becomes a problem. So I expected government to always patronize this university. And you see, the most important, the most unfortunate thing is that Nigerian government don't patronize these universities. Like the UTAS we are talking of. Why should government go to bring IPPIs by spending these billions of naira? When you have a homegrown payment platform that can give you everything and is better than even what you brought. So that shows that by the time we begin to appreciate what we have, and then indigenize our educational system, we will appreciate what we have locally, which will also compete with the whole. And in fact, that will attract other people from the different part of the country to come. Those days, you have Ghanaians in Nigeria, you have the British in Nigeria. Again, as it is today, the pay of lecturers in Nigeria cannot compete with the other part of. In fact, the African average is 1.5. That's the average. And Nigeria is not even close to the average. Where a Nigerian professor earn about 416. Compare 416 to 1.5 million as the African average. Who will come to Nigeria?
What is, I'm made to understand there will be a meeting. Today is September 5th. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be September 6th. I learned there will be another meeting tomorrow. I don't know whether it's the ASUU.
No, it's meeting of vice chancellors and chancellors.
Yes, that meeting. What you, I don't know whether I can get my hand on your professor, on your vice chancellor here.
He's already in
gone.
Abuja for the meeting.
So, what you going to read into? Because I want to find out what is in that visitation. The vice chancellors, the deputy vice chancellors, and the chairman of the governing council,
Chancellors,
and so many of them are going to be in that meeting with Adamu. Adamu has been including Ngige. You remember some years ago when they were not ministers, and we refer to them as federal commissioners. Remember Ali Mosgo?
No. When the universities were at the best.
Yes. And I remember it's during that period I left for United States in 1978, and Ali was still Commissioner of Education, which I owe him today. What I'm saying that why is done that Ali must go such a scenario is not existing anymore. What is the problem? And what do you see? You know that. Do you forecast what is going to come out of that meeting tomorrow?
Oh, the tomorrow meeting I cannot preempt it, but I know government is meeting the vice chancellors and the pro-chancellors, and of course, you know, until the outcome comes out, I cannot preempt it. But again, the union is equally ready for whatever decision that may come up. We're waiting until after the meeting.
Because whatever is going to come up,
yes,
is not going to be short of get back to classroom.
Well,
I mean,
yes,
you know, it's going to the fairness and the goodness of it. Will be saying
I don't want it to come from me.
Everything they are going to propose is about students going back to school and lecturers returning back to classrooms.
Yes.
That one is certain because that is working towards. They are not going to other sides.
But you know, they are
except the conditions that
they are
attached to returning back.
This one we are only projecting, which I know it may not be too far from what you are saying. But again, we are waiting for the outcome of the meeting. Whatever comes out of the meeting, we are equally ready for whatever outcome that may come.
Okay, go ahead.
The issue of Ali Mosgo.
Yeah.
You see, when you look at the university
that is not
system
happening anymore.
The university system was an organized environment. Then, the students, you know, have free food. They wash their clothes. They iron their clothes. They set their beds. This thing. The problem of students don't pay school fee as at then. I remember in ABU, two students are to one chicken. What led to the Ali Mosgo and then Abubakar was the VC of ABU was that when they now say, okay, a chicken will now be shared among 4 students in the university, and that was what led to that riot. Then Ali was the Minister of Education, Abubakar was the Vice Chancellor, and that led that move. And students were the ones, as I told you, students are the one at the helm of all those affairs. Students fight for their rights. But it's unfortunate these days, you know, this same crop of people that enjoy all those good things, free education, free food, iron your clothes, wash your decent, and prepare everything your own is just to go and read, which is no longer obtainable. And in fact, most of them before, as you are from 300 level, 400 level, appointments are waiting for you from different organizations. Most of them never jump hunt. They never went looking for jobs. Employer of levels go to the university. You know, the best students are picked. You know, it's now left for you to choose which organization you want to work with. And that was how, and before you know it, you have a car to yourself, a house to yourself, and you are attached to all luxury of life. I remember then, people at from 300, 400 level, they are even engaged. They marry themselves. But the students we are having today, there is no future. Those things are no longer there. Government don't provide those opportunities. And it's unfortunate that even that kitchen, this same government we have today, as civilian, during the military days, was the one that stopped that. He closed all the kitchens in the universities. As at 82, 83.
That thing was on before I left for United States.
So that is how unfortunate it is.
Yeah.
But the university was an organized system. In fact, university students earn more than even workers then, because the workers rely on the students, because you have series of scholarship. And of course, if people enjoy this kind of
the union that you are part of it,
yes,
you know, you are the chairman, of the representing ASUU in the Federal University Lokoja. You guys are losing your colleagues in a drone. They are moving to different environments. Some people are even changing jobs.
They have to
you
go.
know, some people are becoming farmers. Some people are, you know, have taken some other jobs or migrate abroad to go and teach.
They have to, because the condition here is not favorable.
Are you worried about this?
Well, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's happening that way. But again, since the government, you know, that is why we're calling on the attention of government to really see the need that we are losing a lot of. In fact, in ABU alone, over 30, within this strike period, over 30 professors and other lecturers left the system. That they are tired with this kind of system that is not workable. And I'm not only telling you of ABU, even in our universities and other universities, a lot of people are leaving. Issue of brain drain is just because since we don't value what we have, people that need those people are there. The human capital base is an area where any sensitive government is supposed not to play with, because that is where, in terms of your economy, in terms of that is the brain of everything. When you are in doubt, you can always run to them. They will provide solution to you. And that is why, you know, even the issue you mentioned, TED Fund. TED Fund is the brain work of ASUU. ASUU was the one that gave birth to. They told government that this is what you do, 5% of companies' income. And they provided a solution. When the money came, government eventually hijacked everything. Even the original initiator of that thing, they are no longer there. And the same thing, we told them that the communication company of recent, you can also tax 2%. And government started, instead of now channeling that money to educational sector, they are not doing that. You see, in every struggle ASUU is doing, once there's a problem, we try to provide solution to that problem. But the unfortunate thing, when government discovered that the money has accrued, it's now a big jamboree. They see it as a big jamboree for them to divert it, to other
misappropriation, every kind of stuff take place.
And if in an economy where an individual can siphon over 170 billion until date, nothing has happened. You don't talk of others that have siphoned level 7, level 8 staff of that same accountant general office that siphoned 35 billion, 25 billion, and the likes. And we are saying Nigeria does not have money?
There's a problem. What is it that ASUU wants to be done to call off this fight finally? Because I don't know what they are going to agree after their meeting tomorrow in Abuja. But whatever come, and the ASUU is maybe the second longest period of strike in Nigerian public
after the 9 months.
After the 9 months. Yeah.
2021.
Yes. So what is it that this condition, okay, this one is okay. Okay, we are going to call our members. Let's go back to the classroom.
No,
there is the issue of no work, no pay. Is Adamu standing tough against you? I'm not going to pay for you guys. But they have collected the money for academic institutions and others. So students have paid for this period. Though. They have collected, even not, they are providing very cheap tuition fees and all that, but students have paid. You know, and they say that no work, no pay. What is happening with that money? You know, I know the money is not enough to pay your members.
You see,
but you need to source for other places. What is the greatest thing or any compromise that can be done for ASUU or federal government to break deadlock?
In the first instance, we went on strike action. The month we went on strike, the labor law says after 90 days, that is when government is supposed to even stop salaries. But to our greatest surprise, the very moment we went on strike, February this month, they stopped our salaries. So the same government that is quoting law are breakers of law. Because the labor law says after 90 days, which is 3 months. So the ideal thing is supposed to wait till after 3 months, since there is negotiation. There is this understanding going on. But government broke the law. And now the same government is saying no work, no pay. In the university, I told you, the fact that we are not teaching is just one component of our work. as we are now, you can see us, we always come to school, we are on research, and we provide community development services. The only aspect that we are not working is teaching. And that doesn't mean by the time the students return today, the backlog of that work is there. So is government saying that if they don't pay us, we'll still go back and do it? That's the thing. Then that means the students will suffer. You have almost how many jam waiting? Not one, not twice. Then that means all those admissions will be scrapped. And then no student will graduate. That is the implication of what they are saying. Because they don't understand how the university operates. Researches in universities are key. In fact, there are researches that are still going on. You can't close it. We provide community development services. We go for, if they, where there is need, urgent need, we go there to provide solutions. That is what the work of a university lecturer. It's not just teaching. Teaching is just a component. But what we suspending is just the teaching aspect. So are they saying they will not pay us because of one component out of two? Out of three, you are still doing the other two components. It's just one component. And even that one component, you still go back and do it. So it's unfortunate that they don't understand the working system of the university. For your recall, in the UK, we went on February, the same thing, UK university went on strike. And the students came out in less than a week because they knew how sensitive that sector is. The issue was resolved and all the university lecturers went back to work. But this is the 7th month. Government has not done anything, no single item. Rather, they want to pass a threat. Who are you threatening? Is it your children? People who are knowledgeable? Is it because you are fortunate to handle? This is a democratic government. And these resources is only handed over to you to manage. Anybody can be there. But is it anybody that can be a professor? Can you go to the street and pick professors? But anybody can be a president in this country. So this is what we are saying. So the only thing is, if you don't understand the working tools of a system, you're supposed to get experts that will help you to know how this thing works. Or you invite them, or you come yourself. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves where we are. But again, the public universities, if we don't fight for it, we that were in the system, nobody will fight for it.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Professor Silas, sit down. You don't go yet. I have been talking to Dr. Silas Joshua, an ASUU representative, chairman in Federal University at Lokoja. He's been talking to me. He teaches geography. Call him a compass man. He knows every degrees and every corners of the world. But you are missing your students, huh?
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we are missing ourselves. We are used to them. They are our company. They are everything we have. But
so
it's
I'm going
unfortunate
to conclude this interview with you, this interaction with you, by saying thank you very much. You have been engaging.
I appreciate you.
I'm going to wish you very great deliberation to get your student back, to get your colleagues into the classroom, to have you guys you use lectures as the habit of interacting with students. And I wish you a very good, successful deliberation as you go on, and find a place in your hand to join the federal government, or federal government will join you guys and reach an accommodating ground for you guys to get back to the classroom. Thank you you are very engaging, sir.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate Africa
this week. Yes.
Yeah. Good to have you around, and it's a pleasure. It's my pleasure to see you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
I'll see you more.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.